Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me. This is Sanyukta Saxena, and this is the series on tangles issued by CZTs, and we are already down a couple of tiles and learned quite a few tangles by now. So today's tangle is called Petal Puddle. I'm sorry. This is again a tangle by CZT Jodi Genovese. I think we have already covered couple of tangles released by her. Probably my personal favorite. Yeah. So the tangle petal puddle, very simple to draw. You just have to create a small half moon shape, just like we do for crescent moon. Leave a small gap there and ink the rest, just like a crescent moon. Yeah. So that's the first step. And then I'm going to add a couple of auras, probably 2 or 3, as many as you wish. And then I'm going to add these pointed petals. The tangle name, Petal Puddle, and then these lines. That's the tangle. A very nice, flowery, organic looking tangle. I'm going to show it once more. So again, make a crescent moon, leave a highlight and ink the rest. And then add a few auras, 2 or 3, and then add these pointed petal shapes. Well, that's how the original tangle goes, but if you want, you can bring about variations, right? So you can change the shape of the petals the way you wish to. Generally, the way to shade is on this line. Right, but it all depends how do you want to shade. So if you want, you can go to each of the petals and then add some shadow on one side. So that all depends on how you want to shade it. Right, so that's the tangle Petal Puddle. So the second tangle that we are going to be learning today is called Wist. Yes, it's a tangle by CZT Michelle Beauchamp, and it is very simple to draw. It's like a winding tangle, right? Grows in just about any direction. So now I'm going to just add these random lines cutting across this center line. Yeah, and then I'm just going to add these shapes on both sides of the line. Right, you can vary the shape also, but basically I'm making an 8. Yeah, and if you wish, you can ink the in between spaces, add some weight there. Looks beautiful. A winding tangle, I'm going to show you once more. So just make an 8 around. If you want, you can vary the shape. You can keep them close, you can keep them apart. Close would be a good idea because then you get those in between spaces to ink. Yeah, so if they are interconnected with each other, then they look a little better. Otherwise, you can draw it any which ways. So that's the tangle waist. Yeah, again, shading is up to you. Generally, you add shade on this line and then just blend. Right, so a high and low effect, one side gets darker. So we'll get a better understanding as we draw our tile together. Yeah, so I have this Zentangle in front of me, and let's draw a tile together using these two tangles that we have learned today, Petal Puddle and Wist. So I'm placing my border. You may not do that if you want to use the full tile. So once done with that, now I'm going to start right away. So let's start with the tangle petal puddle only. So add the moon shape, add a gap, and then ink the rest, add some auras, and then add those petal shapes. Take your time. Yeah, and the line. So the tangle looks best when drawn in this manner. Its simplicity adds to the look. Yeah, a little bit of weight in between the petals is all that I have done here. And then moving on to the next. So we are going to draw behind also. So first again the moon shape. Yeah, and then auras. And then again the nice pointed petals. And the lines. Yeah, so I'm going to draw a couple of more, probably one here and one more here. Yeah, so I have drawn all the four, and this is a small thing that I'm doing on my own. You may not do this, just adding a little weight as if the petals are sticking to each other there. Your choice. Right? So once we are done with that, now I'm going to add a fine aura there. So just whatever spaces are there, I'm just going to add an aura. Slowly, take your time. Add a thin aura all around your petal puddle. Yeah. So now we can move on to our next angle. So I'm going to be drawing a nice gorgeous. For that I'm just going to take a reference line and just start to draw gorgeous in this fashion. Again, simple line. Again, probably bring it down. Again, aura. Again, a thicker aura. A thinner aura. A thicker aura. Thinner aura. A thicker aura. So this is the Tangle Gorgeous. Just that I'm folding it in. A thicker aura. A thinner aura. A thicker aura. A thinner aura. Yeah, so alternating auras, thick and thin. That's how you draw the Tangle Gorgeous. I'm going to add a few more here. Big fat gorgeous here. Enjoying itself, sitting in between. Yeah. So let's now ink. Now you may or may not ink all the sections. So if you want to add some orbs, let's see. Maybe we add orbs in between in a few sections. So I've started inking my gorgeous. That's how the original pattern goes. So take your time and slowly ink these sections, the wider sections. Gorgeous is a Zentangle original. If you are new to this tangle, please refer to my earlier videos. Probably I'll merge these two. Yeah. So take your time and slowly ink at your own pace. So probably two of the sections I'm going to add some orbs in between, but that's again up to you. If you want to continue with the inking, you can. Yeah. So I'm almost finishing with my inking. As I mentioned, I just inserted orbs inside two of the sections and now inking the last one. You can extend it as much as you want. Right, so up to you. Just adding some more ink there. Right, so done with our gorgeous. Now time for some tipples here and there, or probably caviars, whatever you feel like. You can add tipples, you can add caviars, bubbles, whatever you feel like. Just filling in the in-between intersectices. Right? So done with that. Now let us introduce our second new tangle, and that is wist. Right? So first I'm going to, I think, ink the border. Right? And then draw my tangle wist. So I'll show you one more way to draw the same tangle in case you wish to draw it this way. So you are aware of the tangle echoism, right? So you can also draw it in this fashion if you wish to. So first introduce these eights, fill in the in-between small spaces. And then introduce these lines like this. Yeah. So that's one more way. Whichever way you feel comfortable, you can draw it. Yeah. Eights there. You can also diminish the size as you come down. Looks nice. Yeah. And then these lines. And just ink the in-between spaces. Yeah. So I'm going to do the same for all. Eights. So this is basically the tangle echoism in a way. Yeah. So I am done drawing my wrist. So one small little embellishment that if you wish you can add is to add these small and fragile fescues coming out of your wrist. Just if you feel like, they will add to the look of this tangle. They look as fragile as the tangle itself. Yeah, small ones, big ones, whichever way you feel like. Just add some fescues here and there. That's about it. I think that's enough. Yeah, let's now move on to shading our tile. So I'm going to add graphite on one side of my petals, just the way I showed you. I like it that way. Adds dimension. They look folded. That you can always shade here. Yeah. So the way you wish to. Yeah. Let's now blend. Oh, one more is left here. So bring it to about half, but don't cover the entire petal. Make sure the ends are a little darker. Yeah. So I'm going to blend. Bring it to about half of the flower. Take your time. Just adding a little extra graphite there at the edges. Yeah. So let's move on to our gorgeous. You need not touch the inked sections. You just have to add on the white sections below and probably here. Yeah. And the center can be highlighted. Coming next to our wrist, I'm just going to darken one side. So you can shade it the way you wish to. Just add some on the center line from where you started, or you can shade it this way. Shade the way you feel like at that point of time. No standard rules there. Go by your mood. Yeah, so I'm just going to add a little graphite on this border. So time now for some chalk, right? So as far as petal puddle is concerned, probably if you have a tan tile, then it will be nice to highlight the other side. I'm just adding some chalk, but I'm not very sure if it is quite visible on white, but that's where you can highlight, right? So you can highlight the second half of your petals. If you want to. So it won't show much on white, but I'm just touching a little. You can add some on the other side of your wrist. To give a light high and low effect. Yeah. And some on your gorgeous where you have not added graphite. You can add some highlight there. Yeah. So just use a different blending stub. Soften the chalk. Blend it with the rest. And that's about it. I think we don't need to do anything else, right? You want, you can add some orbs here. Big ones, small ones. Just use stipple as a filler. Yeah. So that's Wist and the new Tangle Petal Puddle. Do try it out. I'm just adding some more fescues here and there randomly. Some bit of dots there. A little more prominence to this dot. And that's about it. We are done. Right? So let's close our tile here. Do put in your chop. Don't forget to do that. Sign and date your tile. Today is 11th. And I shall see you again with 2 new tangles. Yeah, issued by CZTs. Bye-bye.